All right, today we are cracking the code on something that a lot of people struggle with, Facebook ads for FinTech. We're talking about a platform with absolutely insane reach, but for financial services, well, it can feel like a minefield. So how do you tap into all that growth without getting your account shut down? Let's get into it. First, let's just start with one number to frame this whole conversation. 3 billion. That's the number of people on Facebook every single month. I mean, just let that sink in. This isn't just a social network anymore. It's a global financial ecosystem, and it's just sitting there. For any fintech company, that kind of scale is the ultimate prize for finding new customers. Nothing else even comes close.
But, and this is the big but, here's the paradox, right? If the audience is that big and that ready, why do so many fintechs just burn cash and get nowhere on Facebook? This massive opportunity comes with some really unique hurdles that can kill a campaign before it even gets started.
And that brings us to what I call the FinTech ad paradox. It's this constant tug of war between the incredible potential for scale and the very specific, very strict rules that only financial advertisers have to worry about. And this, right here, is the heart of it. It's a regulatory maze. You see, every single ad you run has to pass two totally different tests. First, Facebook's own ad policies, and second, all the heavy-duty financial industry regulations. That means your language has to be crystal clear. No hype, no misleading claims. And things like disclaimers and social proof, testimonials, awards, that's not just a nice to have. For FinTech, it's table stakes. It's the cost of entry.
So how do you actually succeed in this environment? Well, it all starts with pillar number 1. You have to master your target audience. Seriously, before you write a single word of ad copy, you need to know exactly who you're talking to. And the bedrock of all of this is your ideal customer profile, your ICP. And I'm not just talking about age and location. You have to go deeper. What keeps them up at night financially? What are their biggest money-related problems? Are you targeting a recent grad who's just trying to get a handle on their budget? Or are you talking to a seasoned professional who's finally ready to start investing? Getting this ICP right will define, literally, everything else you do.
Okay, so once you know your ICP, you get to unleash two of Facebook's most powerful tools. First, you've got Custom Audiences. That's for talking to people who already know you. They've been to your website, used your app, whatever. But for real growth, lookalike audiences are the game changer. This is where Facebook takes your list of best customers and goes out and finds millions of new people who look just like them. The budgeting app Clio, for example, absolutely mastered this to scale up and drive a ton of app installs.
So you've got your audience dialed in. Fantastic. Now we move on to pillar 2, creating ads that actually get people to click and convert. This is where you have to blend that deep customer insight with a message that's both compelling and, compliant. It's a real balancing act.
When it comes to writing copy that works, it really boils down to clarity. Just forget all the confusing financial jargon. You need to speak your customer's language and focus on the emotional outcome. Don't sell investing, sell financial freedom. Don't sell a budgeting tool, sell the feeling of being in control. Your headline has to promise a real benefit, and your call to action has to be impossible to misunderstand. Here's a perfect, simple example of what that looks like. It starts with a pain point everyone gets. Tired of losing track of your spending? It offers a simple solution. Download the app, and the benefit is clear and powerful. Start saving smarter. See? No jargon, no hype. Just a clear problem and a clear solution. That's what works.
Now, the format of your ad is just as critical as the words. Video ads are amazing for making complex ideas feel simple. Take Acorns. They use these short, friendly videos to make investing feel way less intimidating. Carousel ads are great for showing off multiple features, like how Klarna highlights its pay later benefits. And sometimes you just need a single, powerful image with a clean design to drive one specific action, like sign up today.
All right, let's move on to our third and final pillar, and this is where the rubber really meets the road. Optimizing for maximum ROI. You've got the right audience, you've got a great ad. Now, how do we make sure you're spending your money wisely, so every dollar you put in actually grows the business? Smart budgeting isn't about spending a lot. It's about learning fast. You start small. Test things out with a tiny budget to see what's resonating. Use a bid strategy like cost cap so you don't overpay for leads. And then you test everything. A/B test your headlines, your images, your buttons, everything. Find what works, and only then do you start to gradually scale up the budget on your winning ads.
So, how do you know if you're winning? You have to track the right metrics. It all starts with your CPL, your cost per lead. This is the simple one. How much does it cost you to get one person to raise their hand and say they're interested?
But a low CPL is useless if those leads don't turn into valuable customers. And that brings us to CLTV, or Customer Lifetime Value. Sure, a lead might cost you $10 to acquire, but if that customer brings in $200 over their lifetime, well, that's a fantastic return.
And that all rolls up into the metric that your CFO really cares about, ROAS, your return on ad spend. It's the bottom line. For every single dollar you put into Facebook, how many dollars in revenue do you get back out? That's the number that proves your ads are an investment, not an expense.
Okay, so we've covered the strategy, the pillars, the metrics. That's all great in theory. Now let's look at how some of the biggest names in FinTech are actually putting this stuff into practice in the real world. So what are the winners doing? Well, look at Clio. It wins by talking to millennials like a friend, using an informal, even cheeky tone. Then you have Coinbase, which takes this big, scary topic, crypto, and makes it seem easy with simple walkthrough ads. And Klarna just cuts through all the noise with these beautiful, clean carousel ads that focus on one single powerful message. You see the pattern here? They're all selling clarity and trust to a very specific audience. So if you take away one thing, it should be this. Succeeding with Facebook ads isn't a set it and forget it kind of deal. It's a continuous loop. You have to be constantly testing new creatives, you have to stay on top of all the policy changes, and you have to use data to get smarter and refine your targeting. The platform never stops changing, and the winners are the ones who change with.
So, we've walked through it all. The regulations, the audience, the creative, the optimization. Your audience is out there, on Facebook, right now. They're waiting. The only real question left is, what's the very first test you're going to run to go out and find them? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.